What's up, everybody? This is your boy Harrison Man bringing you a brand new episode of my show, my podcast, the Melanated Convo podcast. Again, I love saying this. If this is your first time here, what I do here at the Melanated Convo podcast, we have interesting conversations about the things, the moments, the situations that we deal with as black folks, whether that is with our families, whether that is with racism, whether that is with, just the relationships with the people in our lives. Also on the show, we like to focus on black businesses. Empowering ourselves through finances is one of the biggest ways we can do so. Trying to figure out a way to circle our dollars throughout our community is extremely important to me. So on the show, I have a business spotlight section where I talk about a few businesses that I think we should all be aware of, that I think we should all, at least try to support if we can. Also on the show, we talk about news stories, right? So we're going to talk about things that recently happened, with everything going on right now with the protest, everything going on with blatant racism. It's been kind of difficult to sway away from those topics. I typically like to have a wide range of things that I talk about, all relating to black society. But with everything going on with the protests and the riots and the hangings of our brothers and sisters, it's difficult for me to go away from talking about those things since it's so prevalent in such a real thing that we're dealing with. So we talk about the news stories, and then we have a topic, right? At the end of the show, I have a topic about something in particular that I want to talk to the family about. Now today, we're gonna go through the businesses, we're gonna go through the news stories, but today's topic is called the Jack Johnson effect, right? The Jack Johnson. If you don't know who Jack Johnson is, I'll bring that all back around a few minutes. But today's show is about the Jack Johnson effect, talking about all of the recent hangings around the country and what has been the antithesis for these hangings, right? So we'll get into that just here in a minute. Man, I'm excited, man. Juneteenth was yesterday. Today in Sacramento, we're having a Juneteenth celebration at the African Marketplace. I think I'm going to stop by a little bit after I'm done with the show. So we celebrated Juneteenth yesterday, which is basically, 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. Black folks in Texas were informed that slavery was now over, and that happened June 19th, 1865. If I'm not mistaken. My memory is horrible, y'all, so forgive me. But June 19th, 1865, I think a Union general by the name of General Gordon Granger, he arrived in Texas to tell all the slaves that the war was over and slavery had ended, right? So as black folks, we celebrate that, opposed to celebrating July 4th. Well, many of us still celebrate July 4th, and I'm not going to say I'm completely mad at that. Just make sure you figure out a way to celebrate Juneteenth. You talk to your kids about it. Like, that's a real big thing for me, y'all. When all of these things we're going through now, all of these instances, all of these historical instances that we're going through currently, you're really doing your family a disservice if you don't figure out a way to talk to your children about these things and use what we're going through right now as a history lesson, right? You use it to teach your kids exactly what's going on in society, man. So that's something I've been doing, especially with my younger son. So yeah, I definitely recommend that to everybody. So let's get started, family. I'm excited, man. Also, something real quick. This is Saturday the 20th. Tomorrow is Father's Day. Typically for Father's Day, past 2 years actually, since I've been since I started this platform. The last 2 years, I would do a softball game. I canceled the softball game this year because of the COVID-19 situation, and I know a lot of my family and people that follow me wouldn't have had a problem with playing in the game, but I know some people would have. You feel what I'm saying? So opposed to putting people in a situation where they had to choose if they want to come or not, we just canceled it, and we're going to resume it next year. You know what I mean? So we will have the annual Father's Day softball game resuming next year, 2021. But also what I'm going to do tomorrow, and this was the last minute thing, a lot of my brothers I've already reached out to, but tomorrow I am doing something just on my Instagram page and my social media pages, called Stories from a Father. So what I'm basically going to do, and I've reached out to maybe 25 men already. I'm probably going to do more so once I'm done with the show here today, where you send me a picture or a video of your family and a quick story about how fatherhood has been trying to you. It could be a quick story about why fatherhood is important to you. It could be a quick story about the different things you've had to go through being a father. And, you know, being a black man in society, a lot of times, and this is just my opinion, we get overlooked from an aspect of how difficult things are for us. Like being a man sometime, and let's just say you didn't have a father or you didn't have a blueprint on how to be a father, it becomes really difficult. A lot of the simple challenges with raising your kids become difficult. So if you're a man who has endured all of these difficult times, you know, especially if you figured out a way to still remain in a relationship with the woman that you had the kid with, I think that's just beautiful. You know what I mean? So if you've endured trying times as a parent and you're coming out of it on the other side, we should tell our story. We should tell our story so the younger generation can learn. We should tell our story just so we can get it off our chest. You know what I mean? Sometimes when we get to talking about how we feel and shit, we get labeled emotional and all this kind of stuff, when in actuality we're just people. We just like women to a degree. We have fears and we have uncertainties about what we're approaching, and we deal with it a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing, man. So I want to make sure that as fathers, I humanize men as much as possible to let people know, you know what, this is difficult, and we are supposed to be the leaders of our family to a degree, but sometimes we don't have a map. You know what I mean? And if we created our own map along the way, we should be applauded for that, and we should be acknowledged for that. So stories from a father. I'll be releasing the pictures and the videos tomorrow on my social media account. If there's a man listening to the show right now and this is something that you want to participate in, that'll be happening tomorrow for Father's Day, you can send me a DM with your pictures and or the video you would like to use, and a quick statement or message about the photos or about how you view fatherhood. You can send that to @MelanatedFathers on my Instagram page, or you can send it to my email, which is melanatedfathers@gmail.com. That's melanatedfathers@gmail.com. We're doing stories from a father tomorrow. That is Father's Day. So please, because again, this is Saturday, I'm going to be releasing this video, or this show rather, once I'm done with it. So hopefully it can generate enough so people around can kind of see what we're doing and participate. Yesterday I reached out. I didn't want to just throw it on social media and have people reach out to me. I kind of went in my brother's DMs. A lot of the men that I've had a pleasure of working with since I started this platform, a lot of men that just follow what I do, I've reached out to a lot of them to get, you know, to see if they would be interested in participating in this. And a lot of them are, right? A lot of them have sent me videos or sent me pictures of things they want to say attached to the picture. So it's been beautiful so far. So again, stories from a father will be released tomorrow throughout the day on Father's Day, so you guys can see the beautiful pictures and read the stories and things that these men have had to say about their feelings on fatherhood. Now, let's get started, family. I'm excited, man. It's Saturday. You alive? You feel me? You woke up this morning, right? So when we talk about being positive, when we talk about looking into the future, when we talk about having the right outlook, the first thing, family, the first thing, right? And I've always felt this way since, you know, at 19 years old, I lost my mother, and that was like a really integral part of my life, because I was developing as a young man. I was still pretty immature. I had 2 kids already. I was in college. Like, I was doing a whole bunch of shit at one time, right? But what I learned from that experience, because it was a really difficult thing to deal with. My mother's been dead for 20 years, right? But at this point, I use that experience in a positive way to help me move forward, right? And one of the biggest things I learned going forward, because I know a lot of people in our community deal with mental illness. A lot of people in our community deal with depression, and I haven't been clinically diagnosed with any of those things, so I can't speak on if you are dealing with the clinical side of depression, how that can help you, or how that's affecting you, right? So I'm not going to speak on that. But what I will say, the power of positive thinking is real, family. The power of positive thinking is real. And one of the biggest positive attributes for me has always been, okay, today I fucked up. Today I may have had a bad day. Today I didn't do things exactly the way I would have wanted him to. I didn't treat somebody right. Somebody didn't treat me right. I didn't get that job. I didn't get that promotion. My woman broke up with me. Name something negative that could have happened to you today, right? Because it happens to all of us. My thought process is, family, if I wake up tomorrow morning, I got it. If I wake up tomorrow morning, I got another shot at this shit. And that's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for is another chance to improve upon whatever it is that you're not doing right now. Whatever it is that you didn't do right or you didn't accomplish or shit that you failed at. As long as you got another day. Now, granted, also we always got to be of the understanding that you may not have another day, right? You could be talking today and be gone tomorrow. So the mere fact that you woke up this morning is a sign that you have another shot to do whatever it is you want to do in your life, family. Now, let's go to the news stories, family. I'm ready to go today. Let's do it. The news stories. First news story. I had a brother named Jerry Brown reach out to me and say, hey, fam, you know what I'm saying? Can you please share my business on your Instagram page? Like, share what I've been doing, share my clothing line. So I looked into the brother's clothing line. The name of the clothing line is Fatherhood Over Everything Apparel. That's Fatherhood Over Everything Apparel, and I'm sure he kind of seen, he may have seen what I do and how my platform operates, and reached out to me because of that. But if not, I'm happy the brother did. I posted his business information on my social media site, but I don't know if I told him this, but shit, I'll tell him after this. I was like, man, I'll do you one even better and actually promote the clothing line on my show. So it is Fatherhood Over Everything Apparel. On the website, he has shirts, some hoodies, some hats that all kind of represent what fatherhood means to him. He has a shirt that says fatherhood, a presence of a father is priceless. He has a shirt that says make fatherhood great again. Of course, he has a lot of apparel that says the name of his clothing line, which is Fatherhood Over Everything. And again, when it comes to clothing, when it comes to supporting black businesses, of course, I am 100% behind that, but I think we should still look good. You feel me? I'm not gonna relinquish how I look a little bit just to support a black business. I don't think we should do that, family. I think the tiebreaker between you and another business, I like both products. The tiebreaker is that you're black, so I'm gonna go with you. So if you go to the website, which is actually manupworldwide.com, it's manupworldwide.com. If you go to his website, you'll see the clothes. Right now, I'm not sure if this is a Father's Day special, but he is having a special right now where it's 10% off. All you have to do is put in the code Proud Fathers, so you can get 10% off of the clothing that you purchase. All you have to do is put in the code Proud Fathers. That is manupworldwide.com. Father's Day is coming. I know Father's Day is tomorrow. Females, children, people who are going to give a gift to their father, you can order the shirts tomorrow, order the shorts today, get them about a week from now, 2 weeks from now. It's the thought that counts. You feel what I'm saying? Even if Father's Day passes, this is still something great to do for the men in your life, and support this brother's business. Hopefully we can help him get his business as big as he wants it to get. But I appreciate black men stepping outside of the box and attempting to create a legacy for their family that doesn't have to do with them working for someone else. Because again, there's nothing wrong with working. We all need to make money. There's nothing wrong with being a part of a big company that ultimately may not consider you nothing but a number. I think that's the reality of working at big companies in America. And that's something we've all been a part of at one point in time. My thing is, family, what are you doing for yourself? What do you have that's just yours? Now, I'm not talking money or materialistic things. I'm speaking, you can work for a big firm or a big company, and in essence, you're kind of helping them make their dreams happen almost, right? You're kind of helping the owner of that company build a legacy for his family. So at the end of the day, what are you doing for yourself? Do you plan to start your own business? Do you plan on volunteering in a business? Do you plan on starting a new hobby? Do you plan on coaching kids? Do you plan on helping the homeless? Like, there are 1,000 different ways you can be of service to the people in your community. You can be of service to the people in your family, not just by working at a job and retiring and giving them the money from it and buying a house again. All those things definitely should happen. Like or I'm not against those things rather. But at the end of the day, as far as humans are concerned, I think everybody should try their best to tap into your creativity. Tap into what makes you different than the person sitting next to you, right? And sometimes working at a company, working at a job and being a part of that rat race doesn't allow you to express your individuality the way you would want to. So, I appreciate that when I see black men, because I'm attempting to create something that's outside of the box, something that I didn't learn how to do from a family member that had a business or a family member that was an entrepreneur for hella years. I didn't have that experience per se. Well, not nothing legal. So I'm attempting to do something myself that hasn't been done in my family before, and I'm excited more than anything. It's a learning experience. I make mistakes. I do shit the right way, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep going. You feel me? So shout out to the brother. Jerry Brown is his name. Jerry Brown and his clothing brand, Fatherhood Over Everything Apparel. Family, keep pushing your brand. Again, if anybody is interested, go to manupworldwide.com. manupworldwide.com. 10% off code. The 10% off code is Proud Fathers. manupworldwide.com. Check out what the brother's doing today. Also, follow him on Instagram at manupworldwide. Right? So at Man Up Worldwide, you can follow him on Instagram, see how some of the shirts look, give the brother some support, follow him, tell him you seen him on the show or whatever. Just, let's support the brother and help him be as successful as possible. If anybody out there who ever attempted to start a business, man, it is extremely difficult. And sometimes you're counting your small wins on your way to something bigger. And that means even a person saying, hey, I see what you do. Good job, right? Sometimes you'll be surprised how long or how appreciative somebody will be if you just reach out to them, tell them, hey man, I see what you're doing. I may not have the money right now to support you or buy something or whatever, but I see what you're doing. Keep it up. Those positive affirmations go a long way. So shout out to the brother Jerry Brown, Fatherhood Over Everything Apparel, manupworldwide.com. Go to today. You feel me? Now, for the next business, I was going to talk about a different business, but I actually got these chips myself, and I was like, hold up. Hold up. I got to tell the family about this, right? So I'm sure most of you by now have heard of Rapsnacks, right? Rapsnacks is a chip company developed by a brother named James Lindsay. Now, he has different partners. I think he's partnered with Master P or some other people down the line. But this is this brother company. He's the CEO. He has a lot of different chips, basically, inspired by hip-hop. So there's Cardi B chips, Migos, Lil Yachty, Trina, Biggie, Romeo Miller, and the Thing family. I got some of them right here. I've been eating through these things. Me and the family even got about 5 bags already. The store down the street sell them. I'm personally going to go to the website, which is rapsnacks.net, and order like a big old box of them. For $24, you can get like 48 bags or something like that, right? And, that particular bundle was out of stock right now, but I still recommend everybody, if you haven't seen them in a store near you, go to rapsnacks.net. That's rapsnacks.net. These are the Lil Yachty hot cheese fries, right? These are just like hot Cheetos. They're like hot Cheetos. But here's the thing, family, and I'm gonna be real with y'all. I had some of the Cardi B cheddars, like hot cheddar chips. Those was hella good. I had some of the Lil Bootsy Louisiana Fire. On everything, these chips was like better than hot Cheetos. Like how thin they were, how crispy they were. Like on some, like real talk, these chips is better than Doritos. They better than the barbecue chips we get from these white folks. You see what I'm saying? So again, family, we spend, and I'm gonna keep saying this until the narrative changes or until we start doing shit the right way. Well, we have to a degree, but we got a long way to go. We spend a lot of money with people outside of our community in several different facets, from how we dress to what we eat, right? We need to be aware of that, right? So it's our job as black folks to try to make sure our money circulates in our community multiple times before it leaves the community. Look, if you are a black person who is not going to start a black business, fine. That business Starting a business isn't for everybody, right? Don't feel that way, like you gotta, to be involved in the black movement, you gotta start a business. No, work your job, support, right? Support is the key thing. If you're not gonna start a black business, support one, family. Support one. Go to the website, buy some of these chips. You can, I think on the website there's like a locator where you can locate any stores in the area that may have the chips. But family, when I tell you they worth it, I'm gonna go to the store and get some more. I'm gonna order the bags of chips from the website. I'll make sure my son likes them too. I think he likes one of them. You feel me? And we're gonna make these the chips of our family, right? Black-owned product. Rapsnacks. Sorry about the bag. I was ripping these things up last night. Feel me? Look at that. Huh? Hot cheese fries. And again, these are just like hot Cheetos. Just like hot Cheetos. A little not as, a little more dense than hot Cheetos. You can eat more of them, you know what I mean? So look, family, rapsnacks.net. Rapsnacks.net. If you haven't tasted the chips before, because again, I'm not going to eat something that's nasty because you're black. Now that's something I'm not going to do. I'm not going to lower my expectations of quality to support you, family. We shouldn't have to do that. You feel what I'm saying? We shouldn't have to do that. These chips, fire. So get you some. Rapsnacks.net. Look it up. All right. So that's rapsnacks.net. And and also on the bags of chips, let me see if it's on here. On the bags of chips, there's this QR code right here, right? If you scan that QR code with your phone, you can get musical content. You can get exclusive information, right? That's dope right there, family. On the back of the bag, it has the picture of whoever the artist is and a little phrase that they say or something that they said that was notable. Man, look, I'm a product of hip hop. I would happily say that. Like, that's the primary form of music that I listen to. It is the most popular music in the United States of America and abroad. Know that for real, right? So we have a lot of leverage with who we are as black folks. Like, melanated people are extremely motivational, right? People look at how we dress, how we eat. People look at what we do and they follow our lead. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be a black person. I'm proud to be a melanated person. All of us should be, right? But part of being proud is supporting your people as well. So go to rapsnacks.net today. Get you some chips, family. Everybody eat chips. Come on now. We all eat chips. Unless you're on some vegan shit or, you know, I mean, whatever. Unless you're living a certain lifestyle, cool, I get it. But most of us eat chips. Most of us buy Doritos, buy our kids barbecue chips without even thinking about it. Those goddamn Takis or taco with the little red hot ass things. You feel me? We get our kids all these different other brands. Rapsnacks.net, family. Let's do it for ourselves. So that is the end of the black businesses for today. So let's go to the news stories, family. Let's go to the news stories. And these are some news stories that a couple of them are based on what I found. A couple of them is just something I created, something I want to talk about. So look, check it out. On my Instagram page, both of them, the Melanated Fathers and my personal Instagram page, which is Southpaw_100 by the way. Southpaw_100. Excuse me. So on my Instagram page, I posted a video. I posted a video of, and this is apparently what happened. A black man was in a store, looks like maybe a clothing store or something, and a white man called him nigger, either directly or the black man heard him say it, but ultimately the black guy begins whooping this man's ass. Now you can hear the man saying sorry. The black man is constantly calling him nigga while he whooping his ass, which I'm like, But the point is, and again, something else, right? When we look at these videos, when we look at the content that we see online, I'm always erring on the side of caution, meaning context is important. I don't know what happened before the video happened. I don't know what happened after the video. I can't take a 45-second clip and completely be sold on what I'm looking at, but let's just take it for what it is, right? And the question I asked is, I said, allegedly, this white man called this brother a nigga, and this is how he reacted. how would you react, right? And I use my social media. You can use yours for whatever you want to use it for. There's fun things out there. There's poems, people showing what they do for a living, people expressing how they live in their life, whatever, right? I use mine as a mechanism to make people think. Like, I'm not one to be on there just hella entertaining you, and that ain't how I think, family. So mine is based around thinking and based around critical thought, right? So I posed that question to the family, and in the comments, like always, I love it because you get a variety of different perspectives, all black folks. Hey, this is fucked up. He shouldn't have did that. Hey, he deserved it. That's what he get. Like, you getting a variety of what's taking place, right? Or you're getting people critically looking at the video and giving their opinion. And that's what I want. I want us to have critical and thoughtful conversations about things that happen in our society. So hopefully we can move forward in the correct way, right? Like, that's always my goal. But a Mexican brother came onto the comments, and this is how can I say it? This is a message I have for my non-black family, the non-black people who want to speak on our struggles, because the Mexican guy, and this is the Mexican guy that has followed my Melanated Fathers of America page, has commented on several of the stories I posted. From my recollection, I recall seeing this gentleman followed me for like the past year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I'm thinking, okay, he not black, but he with the struggle, right? Because I don't do that. I don't say, okay, you Mexican, you can't be included in it. That shit don't make no sense. Some of y'all black anyway, you know what I mean? So he seemed as if he wanted to participate in the movement, and he understood where we were coming from. Now again, I don't need everybody just to agree with me because I'm putting something out there. We can disagree in the right way, like, you know what I mean? But this is what I'm tired of hearing from Mexican people. And I even had a conversation with a associate of mine the other day. We was getting into it about religion, and he's real big into Christianity and all these things, and he's talking about different stuff. But he said the same thing. This Mexican guy, the first comment he made after looking at all these black people discuss how upset they are, how appalled they are, how they feel about this incident, he says, wow, I can't believe I see all this racism in the comments. I can't believe y'all. Now, first thing first, you're not black, so you need to tread thin when you comment on or involve yourselves in our conversations. You have to use the correct level of empathy when dealing with that. And for a lot of you, I mean, learning our history can kind of help you with that. But he's calling us racism. The black man I was talking to the other day, he's like, black people racist too. This is the working definition that I use for racism. To me, like, you can hear my definitions and you cannot agree, whatever, I don't give a shit. But to me, black people cannot be racist. Racism implies power in controlling things and structuring things, and we don't have power in America, family. Let me give you the Webster's. This is the Webster's dictionary, the Merriam-Webster's dictionary of racism. A belief that race is the primary determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race, right? That's basically saying that because I am this color, whatever that may be, I am superior to you, family. That is the fucking definition of racism. And if I'm getting too vulgar, I apologize, but sometimes I get upset. And this is show because I am not, how can I say it? I'm more of an introverted person by nature. You're not going to see me typically in a crowd of people being the one talking to everybody. That I can do that, but for the most part, I'm an introverted person, and I kind of observe before I speak. Now, this platform allows me to give my thoughts. It allows me to be like an unfiltered version of myself. So if I use profanity or if I'm too vulgar at times, I apologize, but that's how I talk. You feel me? So I was upset because the black man who I was speaking to, the Mexican guy. So you guys need to get a contextual understanding of what racism means, and that implies that you are superior. That implies that you feel because I'm me, because I look the way I look, I'm superior than you for whatever reason. Now, can we be prejudiced? Yes. Can we be a little bigoted? Of course, right? But racist, and we can argue about this, family. Anybody wants to debate this ideal with me and speak about it, this is how I feel. Racism implies systematic structures in place and the ability to withhold something from someone because of how you look. We don't have enough power as melanated people in America to withhold shit from anybody. So to me, we can't be racist. So the Mexican brother, he went on to say a lot of shit. And for me, it almost felt like you don't really like black folks, family. You got a ingrained problem with people who look like me. And so my take on that is I prefer racist people or people who don't agree with black struggle. I prefer you to come out and say that. I prefer you to come out and speak that truth up front. Now, I'm happy that video, or maybe the situations that have been taking place in the country, has made him finally kind of come out and show his true colors to a degree. But I'm not going to say everything he said, but in his comments, several times he said black people need to stop doing this. Black people need to be accountable, right? And again, this is a touchy subject if you're non-black, because before I'm gonna listen to you tell me what we need to do, first, I don't know you, so that's one strike. Two, I have to know where your allegiance lie before I'm gonna listen to you tell me anything about my people, because you Mexican people have their own set of problems that maybe you should be looking at. And another thing I always like to include, and I told him this, he ain't responded to me yet, but I kind of let his ass have it. We're all kind of immigrants, right? But the most recent immigrants to this country after the late 50s, 60s, if you've come here, you should thank black people. Why? The Civil Rights Act of 1968 is one of the biggest leading factors to why all the immigrants were able to come to this country. So, right, we, in the civil rights struggle, got our ass beat, got water and dogs put on us. All this shit happened to us. We got our businesses burned down. We got our cities, our communities burned down. So we're a part of this fight. And the end result of that fight was a Civil Rights Act that didn't just help us. That Civil Rights Act helped gay men and women that were white. That Civil Rights Act also helped immigrants, Asian people from other countries. You were able, Asian people, Mexican people, you are a part of the reason why you're in this country is because of the struggle and the strife that we had to go through as black people. Because what we've been through in this country, none of you guys have, right? None of you guys have. You guys, and again, any Mexican person or non-black person that wants to be a part of our struggle, that wants to come in and join, I am never against that. But you gonna respect something. You know what I mean? You ain't just gonna come up in this motherfucker saying how you feel and what we need to do and whoa, partner. Because we paved the way for you to be here. So that's what I told him. I kind of told him, you should be saying thank you first, family, before you get into us being accountable. Because people say a lot of shit about black society, and to me, it's all about context and how you say things. Because I, for one, believe that we need to be more accountable as black folks. But in what context are you saying that, right? What's your motivation for saying it? My motivation is about love. I love my people. So out of love, I'm not going to say we need to stop this black on black crime. See, that's white Republican racist fucking rhetoric. In reality, we do harm each other, but we don't harm each other more than anybody else does. Have you ever heard white on white crime? The phrase. Have you ever heard the phrase white on white crime? Have you ever heard the phrase Mexican on Mexican? It doesn't exist. It was created for us, to denigrate us. You see what I'm saying? So anybody out here parroting something that I know is structurally untrue, we got to combat that. You feel what I'm saying? So for the Mexican brother, I don't know if he watches this show or not, but and he ain't responded to me yet, like I said. But man, look, you can't come into our struggle telling us what we need to do, family. We're not going to listen to that. And I know, like the keyboard fingers, motherfuckers feel like they can just say whatever they want to say because it's not a up close experience that you're dealing with. But fuck that. Like, if you're going to come into this struggle, be understanding, ask questions if you need to. But to come into our comments telling us what we need to do and how we need to be accountable, I'm never going to accept that for anybody that's non-black. Even somebody that's black. You know what I mean? Again, it's context. It's how you say something. It's never what you say, family. It's how you say it. You feel me? So, yes, do we have problems in our community that we need to address? Of course, but I'm not going to listen to somebody outside of my community telling me this when I don't know what your motivations are. You feel me? So, next story. Let's see. Next story that I'm going to talk about. Oh, so, something interesting about the NBA, right? So, Kyrie Irving, along with like a coalition of other players, Avery Bradley included, are basically saying, because the NBA is supposed to resume their season, I think, July 30th in Orlando for like a tournament-style remainder of the season, I think. And it's been a lot of talks about should they play, should they not play. You know, Orlando at this point is having like a surge in their coronavirus cases. So people are saying, why are they actually doing this? Blah, 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 right? But Kyrie Irving and Avery Bradley is leading a coalition of players who are basically saying we shouldn't play, who are saying that, you know, because of all the racism in the air right now, because of the racial inequalities that we're dealing with currently, they think that if the NBA season comes back, it's going to be a distraction, right? And I have to say, this is being a sports fan for 15, 20 years now, right? Maybe even longer, since I was 13, 14. I played basketball a long time, love the sport, can still play. But I completely understand what these brothers are saying, because even though I appreciate sports, I appreciate these brothers' talent, I appreciate the competitive fire that you see, right? All these things are fun to watch, right? All these things are interesting, and it puts you in a moment in time where you was once an athlete, and it's just fun to watch, right? But I will say, one of the biggest, and this is my opinion, and this is something me and my brother Jermaine Moore spoke about, and he kind of enlightened me to this, and I'm repeating what he said, so, you know what I mean? Sports, and sports, music, all of these things in American society acts as a gigantic distraction. In my opinion, a part of the reason why it was created was to distract us from some of the real shit that's going on. Now, you know, Kyrie and them went on to talk about, you know, how they want to start their own league and different things like that. Man, I'm completely with all that, but I'm over like the past 3 or 4 years, I slowly but surely stopped watching sports as much. I think it's a mixture of kind of realizing that it's made on being a distraction. That's a part of it. Another part of it is I have all these other mediums to watch things now. So sometimes like an NBA game, just a normal game, be kind of boring to me. I'll prefer to actually play myself, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, that's what I was going to say. At the end of the day, a big part of why the protests and everything that's been going on right now, and this is what my brother Jermaine Moore said to me, a big part of why the protests have been successful and the spotlight has been put on the injustices that black people face is because we have no distractions right now, family. And I couldn't deny that fact. When he told me that, I was like, damn, that's spot on. We have nothing else to focus on. So you see what happens when America takes away the distractions? If the distractions are taken away, then we have no choice but to focus on the real problems going on in this country, and that's racism, family. That's discrimination on certain levels. That's how America treats people really fucked up. The cops being a primary example of that. So this is just nothing else around to watch, so you're forced to look at what's going on. So yes, I agree with the brothers. If the NBA comes back, it is going to be a distraction from what's going on right now. Some people who are involved in the movement, they talking about it, they getting involved with it in different ways, they gonna put that shit to the side and sit down and watch that game. That's just the reality of the country we live in. You feel me? And I say it like that too because, like, on some real shit, when I'm around a group of men, this is not all the time. I try to put myself in spaces now where I'm around like-minded people as much as possible. But when I'm around a group of men, typically, do you know what we talk about? You guessed it. Sports or women, primarily. Primarily sports. That's like the safe haven for most men to kind of conversate, right? So this distraction provides a lot of things for us at times, whether it be just something to talk about, whether it be something to focus on. You see what I'm saying? But sports, definitely a distraction. Now, the coalition, which Kyrie Irving and Avery Bradley are a part of, they're getting backlash. People like Kendrick Perkins, people like Stephen A. Smith, right? Stephen A. Smith. And again, Stephen A. Smith had like a love-hate relationship with that brother. It seems like he represents the corporate entity. I've heard him speak about understanding the black struggle and not negating the fact that he's a black man in this society. But a lot of times he speaks from a corporate interest standpoint, right? Because his take is you can't do this because y'all can't sit out because all the families that got to get paid money, everybody that work for the NBA, if you don't do this, the collective bargaining agreement is going to get tampered with, and then when it's time to renegotiate, money. All he's talking about is money. So if I hear a black man on TV basically saying, it sounds like he's saying, hey, I need to protect my money. I need to make sure my money don't get fucked up. Liberating my people, I can kind of do that on the side, but money is what's important to me, and I'm not on that train, family. Like at this point, I'm a 40-year-old man. I understand what has happened to us in this country. I understand that it hasn't been enough of us to stand up and fight. I understand that I created a platform for myself where I have to speak. A lot of people much bigger than me have platforms where they should be speaking if they feel it. But my integrity is much more important than a dollar. And I'm with the brothers. I think they shouldn't play. Now, I think they should give some demands on why they're not playing and what they want to see the NBA do. But ultimately, the season should be canceled, family. It's going to be a distraction. Now, the coalition released a statement that I want to read that I think is really pertinent. Normally, I don't read statements and stuff like that, but I want to read this statement that was released. Now, they are saying, we are combating the issues that matter most. We will not accept the racial injustices that continue to be ignored in our communities. It continues on to say, we will not be kept in the dark when it comes to our health and well-being. And we will not ignore the financial motivations, expectations that have been preventing us historically from making sound decisions. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? I want to say that again. We will not ignore the financial motivations and expectations that have prevented us from historically making sound decisions. That's real talk right there, family. Thinking about your money is why Michael Jordan didn't really fuck with us like that. Let's be honest. He was like, I got to get this money. I'm focusing on winning and competing. Republicans buy shoes too. You feel me? They went on to say, as an oppressed community, we are going on 500 plus years of being systematically targeted, used for our IP, intellectual property, talent, and also still being killed by the very people that are supposed to protect and serve us. The statement continues to say, we've had enough. I'm with those brothers, man. And like I was saying a little earlier, Kyrie, it's being reported that he has entertained the idea with his teammates and other people around him of starting their own league. And I am one that's 100% behind the top NBA players starting their own league. I feel if next week the top 100 NBA players, let's say 100 to 150, said, look, we are no longer a part of the NBA, sue us, take our money, do whatever you want to do. We're going to start our own league, starting in small colleges around the country or fucking high school gyms, whatever. It would change the world overnight. It would change the world as we see it. And people ask, I mean, would you go see LeBron play at a low college where it wasn't a whole bunch of NBA? Hell yeah. What? It's the talent, man. We live in a society where, as far as big business is concerned, the talent makes the less money. Think about that. From music to sports to actors, right? For the most part, the talent makes the least amount of money. And a lot of these owners couldn't shoot a basketball if you trained them. You see what I'm saying? So at some point, I would love to see some of this switch up a little bit as far as us having more power, having more leverage. I know historically we've been disempowered to a degree. Historically, we were slaves. We were working for pennies on the dollar. Like, we were in a horrible situation. And a lot of these institutions still conduct themselves the same way. Like, the NBA has how many black owners? Like, how many black general managers? I mean, that's not imbalanced to y'all. You know what I mean? So if somebody comes out and says, hey, look, the people who make this league possible don't get a bulk of the money. How about they leave and do something on their own, taking their talents with them? To me, that's brilliant. To me, that's revolutionary. You know what I mean? Because again, my love for the game of basketball remains the same, but my love for watching the games, this is football too. I rarely watch football now. Watching the games and being involved. Like, I used to, I used to watch SportsCenter like 5 times a day. Like, no lie. Even though I knew it was the same damn, they would say the same shit. I'll watch SportsCenter like 5 times a day, right? At this point in my life, I'm extremely uninterested with the specifics behind sports. Who's getting traded? Who's going that way? Who said this about this person? What commentator feels what's going to happen tomorrow? That I don't want to hear people talk about sports at this point. Like, I'm damn near completely over that shit. But I love the playoffs. I love big moments. I love when big things happen, right? I'm still into it in that regard. But I can do without the shit. I guess that's what I'm saying. If we had to go to a society where we didn't have sports for a while, or the black players was getting together their own league, I would fuck with that, right? Ice Cube showed the power of coming up with your own idea with the big 3. I think ultimately that's going to be extremely successful for him. You know what I'm saying? So that type of, and he's using just gyms around the country and getting the thing popping by itself. Got a network supporting him. You see what I'm saying? So this is just something to think about, family. Will the players in the NBA leave the league and create their own thing? I don't think so, but I love the idea. I love and then Kendrick Perkins is saying Kyrie's not a leader and all this shit. I think that's a tricky thing, right? When you go from being a player and being in the trenches with the players and knowing how they feel, and now you're on the other side of it, it's almost like you forget what it took to be that. And sometimes I've noticed, and I say this, I don't give a fuck what nobody say, sometimes the guys that weren't that good, or the guys that was like, because to make it to the NBA, you have to be a proficient athlete. But compared to all their peers, some of these guys aren't that good compared to their peers. So I think at times they get on the other side of that shit, and they be like, I'm going to be a superstar here. I'm going to make my stardom here. I'm going to talk about the people that I couldn't guard or that I couldn't do nothing with in the league. You know what I mean? So kudos to the brother Kyrie Irving, Avery Bradley. It's about time, man. In sports, regardless of how much you like them, I know more men who know more about the 49ers than they do about black history. I know more men who know more about the recent trades that happened in the NBA and whose contract is up and what new team is going to get that person than they do about Juneteenth. Than they do about, or some people I know, it just seems like to me, let's say they do know some of these historical facts. They don't really talk about that. They talk about sports. So let's just say we couldn't talk about sports. Let's say you're in an environment with men and there's no sports to talk about. What else you gonna talk about, right? Got to talk about deeper shit. Got to have more meaningful conversations. So again, I'm not against anybody who watches sports. I completely understand why you do it. Just not for me as much as it was in the past. And I'm for empowerment, however we see fit to actually move forward with that. So if the brothers want to get their own league, or at least entertain the idea of getting their own league, or figuring out ways to gain leverage in this system that has systematically shut you out of shit, you have to acknowledge that, right? So kudos to the brother Kyrie Irving, man. Go ahead. I see what you're doing out there, family. I'm 100% behind that movement. You feel me? Now, last news story that I want to talk about. A little sip of that rock star, family. All right, last news stories I want to talk about. Last news story I want to talk about. This past Thursday, in Sacramento, my brother Kevin McLean, who's a business owner here in Sacramento, in my opinion, slowly becoming like an activist too, right? A really positive, community-minded brother. And the brother Barry Axius, who, if you are familiar with community activism in Sacramento, he's a large part of that, like a large, extremely large part of that, does extremely good work in the streets of Sacramento for our people, right? Both of those brothers deserve hats off to them, right? So they put together a healing march here in Sacramento, where I'm from. Typically, I do not march. I'm going to put that on record. I do not like the idea of marching, which to me, to a degree, is almost asking for something. You know what I mean? Historically, I don't think the act of marching in itself has been really beneficial to us as a people. At times, marches have brought awareness to things, but ultimately, some of the things we march about, I think it's obvious these things aren't happening for us, so we don't need to go out and ask nobody about them. But I wanted to support my brothers, and sometimes I put all that to the side because I want to show my people that I'm there for them. And other times, I want to be just in the atmosphere, just smell the air, just kind of get an idea. Being on the ground with the people, bottom line, you get a different perspective. You know what I mean? So we were doing the healing march based on the fact that in Sacramento over the past like 2 months, I think there's been like 2, 3, 4 killings of young black men. A young black woman was shot too. So it was more of a thing to come together to say, you know what? Yes, we're gonna do what we can to combat racism and combat police genocide against black people. But when we be on some shit, we need to kind of talk to each other too, to say, hey, let's chill out. Now, it's important to note, over the past 2 or 3 years, the murder rate in my city, just the amount of young men who have been getting killed, has went down dramatically because of several groups in Sacramento who have put in the time and energy to ridding our communities of these things, right? But the healing march was good because I wanted to just show my solidarity with the people, and it went really well. Being in an environment with like-minded individuals is it's almost like a high for me. You know what I mean? Just being in a room with a lot of people who think the way you think, the conversations are the same, the conversations are real motivational. I really appreciated it. And, again, like I was saying earlier, we all know this black on black crime shit is a myth, just as far as that term in particular. But if we're going to be honest as black people, we do need to figure out a way to get the warrior class of men, like the black men who are a part of these gangs, who don't think twice before they do something to somebody. These are the warrior class of men that we have in our society, and we definitely need to figure out a way to reach them and figure out a way to, help them decide, because it's a decision, to put down their tribal differences and realize there's a bigger thing going on, right? So I do agree with that, and I think accountability in our neighborhoods, killing somebody black when a white person kills us, we don't take that same type of animus towards them, which I think we need to switch that up a little bit, right? But also, I understand that some of these young men are dealing with decade after decade of tribal differences, so it's difficult just to stop one day, right? And I know from the outside looking in, sometimes we see it as just senseless killings. And sometimes it can be, it's over money, it's over pride, it's over territory, it's all these different things, right? But on a familial basis, like on a familial level, the part I do understand is if you're an impoverished youth and you don't have the structure in your home, you don't have the structure in your home, you don't have the structure in your community, your mom may not have the money necessary to suffice when it comes to certain things, you may not have a dad in the house, right? These are all the factors that young men have to deal with. And if this is your situation and the young men in your neighborhood provide you that structure, right? They provide you the finances you need. They provide you the positive affirmation that you need. Even if it's all based in something that can be deemed negative, this is where they're getting it from, right? And then on top of that, you're in a neighborhood, just giving you guys some context, hear me out. You're in a neighborhood with your friend who, on the outside, everybody knows y'all in the gang and you sell drugs and you do all these things that can possibly be negative or have a negative effect on your people. And I get that. I understand why people would say they shouldn't do that. But at the end of the day, this is my friend. This is somebody that I grew up with and helped me with all these things that my mom or my parents couldn't help me with. So if he gets hurt, he gets shot, right? Something happens to him. It's about the gang shit, but it's kind of just about my friend. That's my friend that got hurt. I want to retaliate what I want to make them feel what we're feeling right now for hurting my friend. And then it becomes a thing where it just continues to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So yes, I think in 2020, the gang situation in urban American cities needs to be curtailed to focus more on the bigger fight that we all have to deal with. But we got to be careful about how we approach these brothers. We got to be cognizant of the history of their war, right? Because we in a war right now with these white supremacists, with these racist factions, but so is the niggas in the hood. They've been at war for years too. You see what I'm saying? So I think respect needs to be applied on both ends. But at the end of the day, the march was great. We had a lot of good people there. The community came out. I was able to connect with a lot of brothers that, a lot of brothers that I've met on social media because of what I do and what they do. We've met on social media or met in passing, but I had an actual opportunity to meet them and talk to them and build and kind of decide how we're going to move forward together, right? So it was a unity-based thing that I really enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed being there. Again, hats off to the brother Barry Axius and Kevin McLean. To my knowledge, it was Kevin's idea to put together something just to let the community know that we got their back and we not gonna give up on our young brothers, even if they out there doing shit we don't like. You know what I mean? Them still are young brothers. That's still the warrior class of black men. Like, if we were able to get the mentality that some of them young brothers got when it comes to violence, when it comes to respect, right? We can use that in our society. Now, again, what they're using it for currently may not be beneficial for all of us, but ultimately that mentality is useful when it's wartime, when it's time to strategize. You feel me? So hats off to the brothers for putting that together, man. Because again, I don't like the march and shit. I'm not gonna lie about that. But because of my platform, because of what I talk about, it behooves me to get involved with some of these things. Just to, and at times, just if it's just to see, just if it's to observe the atmosphere even, right? So I'm going to do my best to continue to, even though I attend a lot of things in my city that has to do with black empowerment, but I'm going to do more. You feel me? Like all of us should be thinking. I'm going to try my best to do more. I had a great time at the march. Shout out to the brother Kevin McLean, Barry Axius, man, y'all 100. Now, let me see. Boom, boom, boom. Here on the march. All right, so enough of the stories, family. Finally, what are we, an hour in? Just getting to my topic. It's been a good show, though, man. It's been a good show. Oh, something I forgot to mention. Damn it. Should have mentioned at the beginning of the show. Subscribe to my YouTube page if you have not done so already. Subscribe to the Melanated Fathers TV YouTube page. Hit that notification bell so you can be alerted when new videos drop. Subscribe. If you have not been to the website, melanatedfathers.com, go to the website today. Check out the latest news stories. I talk a lot about history on these shows. If you go to the website, melanatedfathers.com, you will find a History Matters section that discusses several instances in people throughout our history that you can learn from, that your kids can learn from. I make sure the articles aren't real long and lengthy so you can grasp what this person or what this situation was about. And if you feel like you need more information, you can always look it up yourself. Like, the power of searching for information on your own builds character, and that kind of builds up your knowledge base opposed to somebody just give you the information. So go to melanatedfathers.com, check that out. Subscribe to the news channel subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not done so already. Now, topic of the day. Over the past month and a half, 2 months, there has been, I would say, I may have the number a little off, but I think it's been about 6 or 7 maybe. 6 or 7 black people who have been found hanging from trees. Now, the media and the police departments around the country want us to believe that these black folks are picking this method to commit suicide. They're actually hanging themselves from trees to commit suicide, right? Also, over the past few weeks, I think Lake Merritt in Oakland, they found nooses just hanging from trees. Just people just hanging nooses, right? They think I'm going to think all of this is a coincidence, right? A couple days after finding the nooses, they found the same lake, I think in Oakland or near Oakland, Lake Merritt, if I'm not mistaken. They found fake bodies hanging from trees, right? So this is what I think is going on currently, family, and I call this the Jack Johnson effect. Let me explain. For those of you who don't know, Jack Johnson was the first black heavyweight in the United States. He became a black heavyweight in like 1908. Now, Jack Johnson was like a bad motherfucker. Like, he used to like beat the shit out of these white boys, right? And there was so much racism going on then that he would be fighting in the ring and people would jump in, help the other boxer. They would boo him. And like, he had it real bad. Like, Floyd Mayweather and a lot of black boxers today, I think, experience some of that same racial animus because of, you know what I'm saying? Because of the whole fighting part of it and wanting to see somebody black get their ass kicked. And when you win a lot, it kind of, you know what I mean? So Jack Johnson was, I would say, damn near like the first Floyd Mayweather, first Mike Tyson, because the brother was flamboyant. He had all the nice cars. He had all the women. He talked a whole bunch of shit. That remind you of somebody? You know what I'm saying? He was extremely effective in the ring because he liked to date white women. They created the law called the Mann Act, meaning you can't take a white woman cross state lines. This is one of the laws they use today to kind of get pimps caught up, right? But this law was created because Jack Johnson, I forgot the young white woman, but Jack Johnson was even put in jail because of this. Basically because he whooped white men's asses in the ring and he would fuck their woman afterward, right? So in American society, especially then, they wasn't having that. But I called what I'm seeing today the Jack Johnson effect because after Jack Johnson's fights, some of the pictures around the country that we've seen of people getting hung, right? Of black men and women being hung from trees. Because Jack Johnson was so dominant, because he would whip these white men asses so bad, it for him and for many athletes of that time, they felt like this is the only place I can't be affected by white supremacy. You feel me? This is the only place that I can be me and do exactly what I want to do to this white man and no cops are going to come and get me, right? So again, he used to beat these white men's asses. And after the fights, lynchings would go up. After the fights, uprisings would go up. See? So you couldn't do anything with him in the ring. He legally whooped that white man's ass. You can't do nothing to him in the ring, so I'm going to take it out on the black community, right? I think that was the general consensus of society at that time. If they couldn't get to the black person that they want, they would just take it out on all of us, right? So, this is what I think is happening today. Currently, things are changing. Now, whether or not some of these companies are motivated by genuine actions, I can't say. But family, we have to be honest. Confederate statues are coming down. Big companies are showing their solidarity with the black community. Symbolic racism is being acknowledged and dismantled, i.e., the Aunt Jemima, the racist ass syrup bottle we've all know it's been racist since the inception. But companies like that are saying, you know what? Maybe we have been kind of racist. Now, is it a long time coming? Yes. Should it have happened several decades ago? Yes. But if it's going to happen today, let it happen today, right? So we have these companies deciding that, you know what? We've been a part of this racist faction of America, and we want to change the narrative just as far as how we are concerned, right? And I appreciate all of that. Cops who been killing us forever are now being charged. Now, again, conviction and charge, two different things. We need to make sure these cops are actually convicted. But being charged, for these cops to be charged, it's definitely a step in the right direction. I have to say that. It's definitely a step in the right direction, right? So racism from a corporate level, from a society, it seems as if it's being acknowledged. And almost, we got a long way to go, but almost taken down a little bit. Like almost the narrative about black lives and how it's changing a little bit. So in my opinion, the white supremacists around the world see that we're gaining a little legway, right? See that we're being acknowledged. Racism is being acknowledged at a rate that I can't recall it ever happening, right? I think a lot of them are saying, okay, let's get back to our shit. Okay, yeah, Black Lives Matter, watch this. Okay, yeah, these companies will give y'all a little money. They'll come out and say, yeah, we acknowledge Juneteenth and we gonna get back to our shit. You know what I mean? Which is hanging you niggas. So if you expect me to think 6, 7 black folks hanging from a tree is them committing suicide, you out of your fucking mind. I don't care what media source you from. I don't care who you've been talking to. I don't care what police department you're a part of. That's bullshit. We ain't gonna hang ourselves. Maybe one of those people possibly would say, okay, I'm gonna use this method to kill myself, but fuck no, man. These people ain't hanging themselves. These people ain't hanging themselves. That's why black folks, you got black teenagers. Look, man, I think one of them was in Roseville, close to me. Look, man, if you got black teenagers, you better monitor your teenagers right now. Make sure you know where they're going. Make sure that they not outside real late. Make sure you know which friend house they at. Like, we as a society, and I continue to say this, and I need all my black folks to hear me and hear me clear, we are at war. Family, racism is imploding on itself as we see it today. But that don't mean it's not a lot of groups of people out here that don't want to see us come together, that don't want to see the racism in this country get curtailed the way it should be, right? And I think some of these groups don't do a whole lot of talking. Like, we march, and we'd be like, we tired of this, and we yelling and screaming in the cop's face. I've already spoke about how I don't like some of the marching and some of that shit, but family, we need to get to action. Like, some of these groups ain't out marching saying white lives matter. They hanging niggas. You feel me? That's what I think is happening, family. So just like when Jack Johnson was tearing down the ideal that a black man is less than, he was tearing down the ideal that I can't do what you can do. He was tearing down the mental factions of these people who feel like they're better than us, who are racist based on the goddamn definition I read 15 minutes ago, right? Because they couldn't get to him, because they couldn't jump in the ring and stop him from winning the way they wanted to, they took it out on us, family. That's how it's always been. So to me, what we're watching is nothing more than the Jack Johnson effect. We are becoming Racism and dismantling it is becoming prevalent in this country, and there's a fraction of people who do not want to see that happen. And these same people, I think, understand the lynching thing. They understand how historical that is, how much those things have affected us, right? So that's what I think is happening with all these black people being hung from trees. Ain't no coincidence, family. You expect me to think all this shit's going on, and now all of a sudden black people are just hanging themselves from trees, 2, 3, 4 in a couple days. One of the brothers that supposedly hung himself from a tree, a few days later, his brother gets into a shootout with cops and gets killed. Now, if you think, family, that all of these incidents are isolated and have nothing to do with each other, I don't believe that shit. I think it's all connected. You feel me? So we need to be, and I say this to my black parents, be aware of this. Right? I'm not trying to scare nobody or nothing, but be aware of this. Be aware of how we've been treated. Be aware of the historicity of certain of these certain things, right? To know that, again, I like history because it always just shows me that the things I'm watching in present day is just repeating itself. It's the same thing that has happened in history. It's just a new face, a new white man, a new situation, but it's the same thing, right? So as black folks, we need to be aware of all of these things as much as possible. As much as possible. So watch where you go. Watch who you're there with. Like, be careful, black folks. Please, I love y'all, man. Please be careful. Please be careful, because we don't know what we're looking at. We don't know if these cops are going to be charged. We don't know this coronavirus shit, how this really came to be. Like, we just don't know. They're talking about when coronavirus vaccinations are introduced, black folks has to take them first. What? You know what I mean? So this is a crazy time that we living in. Really, a lot of unforeseen situations are taking place right now, but we got to come together. We got to figure out a way to learn about all these things. We got to figure out a way to empower our people. Now more than ever, we need empowerment. We need businesses. We need unity. We need all these things now more than ever, family. You feel me? So this has been another episode, man, of the Melanated Convo podcast, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Do me a favor and follow me on Instagram at Melanated Fathers for the Melanated Fathers of America Instagram page. My personal Instagram page is at Southpaw_100. I appreciate you guys listening to the show. I appreciate you guys rocking with me, man. This is the way, because I'm not really a talkative dude like that. Because I said that earlier, but it's more of about certain things. I gotta know you, and it's as long as it's about a certain thing, I don't mind talking. Like, I don't have a lot of small talk in me. You know what I mean? Like, you know how motherfuckers can just create a little conversation about something they looking at or a shirt somebody got on. I'm not wired that way. So a conversation for me has to be a little deeper for me to engage. So I appreciate y'all allowing me to come on here and express how I feel, express my feelings, and, further my platform and get my voice out there. I really appreciate that, family. So this has been another episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube page, do so now. It's Melanated Fathers TV on YouTube. Want to get my subscribers up as much as possible, just so I can have the biggest impact on my community. So subscribe to the page. Hit that notification bell. Go to the website if you haven't done so lately. Subscribe to the website too. You can put your email address in the top right-hand corner of the website so you can know when new articles are released, when new news stories are released, the book of the month, all these different things. You'll be told about these things if you subscribe to the website. So this has been another episode. Oh, and also, I'm going to release this video today. If any man wants to be a part of the Stories from a Father, the Stories from a Father salute that we're doing tomorrow, send me a picture or some pictures of you and your children, along with a little story about the picture or a story about fatherhood or what fatherhood means to you. It could be a phrase, whatever you want it to be. Send that to Melanated Fathers TV or, to my Instagram page at Melanated Fathers. You can DM me that information, or you can send it to my email, which is melanatedfathers@gmail.com. going to my Instagram page may be the easiest way to do it. But in any case, send me that if you want to be a part of what we're doing tomorrow. Again, man, I thank everybody for tuning into another episode of the Melanated Convo podcast. I'm out.